what it's like early morning on board the boat. A time of quietness. Just started the fire, put the kettle on, put the dogs on the bank, and just watching the world go by. It's lovely. See, it's not all motoring along. Sometimes you just sort of stop and enjoy.
Welcome to one of those beautiful boating days that you dream about if like me you like narrowboats. We're on a hire boat for a week in October, so it's autumn in the UK, and normally this time of year it's pretty cold and wet, but this week has been like this. The trees are just turning, they're beautiful, the sun is out, and because it's autumn, the river is practically empty. We're on the River Thames, and when we first started, it was the weekend, there were boats around, but now it's in the week. There are no boats around. It's just us, 3 men, 2 dogs, 1 boat, and a guitar actually. So there you go. Sit back and relax and watch and remember how much fun you can have on the river. Messing about on the river. Take it away, Sam. Or Robin in this case.
I'm getting older and I'm losing my hair. Getting slower, but I don't care. Getting wiser hasn't happened yet. There's no time for regret. There's no time. Getting lazy happens all of the time. Getting grumpy isn't much of a crime. Getting wiser hasn't happened yet. There's no time for regret. There's no time. I'm just enjoying the ride. Just enjoying the ride.
I was thinking it would be nice to swim to the boat, but I just don't trust someone to pull me out. Probably just stand there drinking, saying, "No, Dad, climb." Very refreshing. Oh. And now for a nice clean shower. Maybe a cup of tea. You know what? I'm not ashamed of my poo bags. I'm not ashamed. I'm gonna put it in my pocket.
What bird is that?
Tern, I think.
Yeah, it's like a weird little. It's not a gull, is it?
Do you know what it was actually, Mike? I think it's a turn for the worse. Firstly, I have to say, Mike has been a bit remiss. He has not been keen to film. So if you feel you're not getting enough value out watching this film, please feel free to put a comment below and say, Mike, what were you thinking not filming? For instance, this very morning, we had a highly exciting incident. Mabel saw some geese on the bank and fell off the boat, basically. And where it was, there was nowhere for her to climb out. So I had to jump in, swim across the river and grab Mabel, who was just like, had lost the plot, and drag her back to the boat. And Mike did not even bother to film it. Can you imagine? He actually said, Stan, can we do that all over again tomorrow? still smell the cheese from when we're eating it. The cheeses are in the fridge. The smelly one is in with the olives, because I'm happy to keep on eating them like 2 or 3 a day. But also that will hopefully keep the smell relatively contained. It won't work, but it might going to keep it roughly contained.
See the light, it shines before me. See the light, feel it within.
Yeah, so I had a lovely swim with Foggy, who we had a lovely time together. Then the next morning we set off and Mabel fell in. So I had to dive in and rescue her, which was still very lovely, I must confess. Although I think Mabel wasn't so keen. But luckily, we gave her some liver pate. And she decided it was definitely worth doing. In fact, I get the impression she'd like to jump off again just to get more pate. But anyway, so that was Abingdon. Last night we stopped at a place called Wallingford. All these places basically have got a beautiful bridge over the river and then a lovely little sort of market town next to it. And we stop at the market town and go and get supplies. So we got some really nice food in Abingdon. And in Wallingford, weirdly, we just walked all the way through and found a petrol station where we picked up some logs. We've got a stove on this boat, which is beautiful. In the evenings, when it gets cold, when you finish sort of, with the day, you just come on in, light a little bit of a fire. Not that big, just a small one. And the whole place becomes toasty warm. And then better yet, in the mornings, when certain people, that would be Mike, are grumbling that it's cold, even though he actually has 2 duvets on his bed and I only have one and Robin only has one. Separate discussion. Mike spends a lot of time grumbling how cold it is. And I know he's going to cut this bit out, so I don't know why I'm even mentioning it. But he grumbles how cold it is and always wants the heating on. And instead, one of us will come through, usually Rob or me, and start the fire here. And within 5 minutes, the first front of the boat, the first half, is toasty warm. Mike, is there anything you want to say in your own defence?
It's almost too much. There's almost too. I haven't got enough time to say what I want to say. But you're right. You have one duvet, one king size, 18 tog duvet, as does Robin. I have 2 3 tog summer throws, as provided by the boat company.
Do you know what? This is something we've never talked about before in our films. What I love on the boats is how small things become big things. So literally on this boat, I kid you not, there must be an hour's conversation every day about the allotment of duvets, the thickness of duvets, the way they're tucked in. Mike last night had this theory on how you can tuck a duvet in a certain way, which means it's warmer and it will not let cold air. I mean, on a boat, tiny things. And the thing is, you don't just talk about it, you're roaring with laughter. The 3 of us last night were all lying in our separate beds, just hooting with laughter over duvet wars, basically, over who was suffering the most because of their thinnest duvet. And it's not just us. We were chatting to a lovely bunch of like about 12 were on another Anglo-Welsh boat, and they were having the same thing, because they're all on bunks and they were sharing, and it was all this. And so we were chatting to them on the bank in Abingdon, and again it's the same thing. Tiny things become really important on a boat, and they just make you laugh. So there you go. That's one of the things I like about the boat. Another of the reasons why I love narrowboats so much. But if you excuse me, again, another tiny thing. I'm now going to have to, because I'm making coffee. Oh no, hang on, I've got to get the coffee. Again, at home, making the coffee is just like, yeah. Whereas on a boat, you've got to sort it all out. Emptying the coffee pot, waiting for the water to heat up, because the engine heats the water, and then getting the coffee on, which will take a long time to make, because they just do on boats. And by which time you've washed up, you've got to work it all out. I love it. You have to pay more attention to the sort of admin of life on a boat. It's really nice. And I just realised on this river there is actually such a thing as the bright side of the river, because we were just going along back there and Mike said, oh, should we do some filming? And I realised, we both realised we were in shadow. And I said, hang on, I'll just steer the boat over to the other side of the river. So there you go, we are now cruising. Always direct your feet, always direct your boat to the sunny side of the river. Hang on, what rhymes with river? Always direct, oh my God, I've got it. Always direct your tiller to the sunny side of the river. Boom!
We're not walking anywhere.